So at the school, you pass with a 60. But that's not a lot. And so I wrote a sentence on the board with only 60% of the words there. And I said to the kids, the problem is with language, and you're like in the moment talking to someone, that's not really enough. Like sometimes if you get lucky and the right words are those words, but those are often some of the difficult words that you may not know. And so 60 is not enough. But then I did some examples with 80, and you could get like a lot better sense. And sometimes almost understand, depending which word was missing. So we also 80, so at the end of the year, 8th graders took a placement exam, and 80% was also kind of the cutoff we negotiated with the high school. So it just sort of became like our new magic number.
And that was through the language department?
Yeah. So the kids who got 80 on the placement exam, it's like, oh, you know, like you pretty much know it. Maybe there's a few things you're confused about or that need more practice, but at 80 you pretty much know it. So in the beginning of the year, I told students I told them about the smaller units. And I told them that now you had to have an 80 to pass. You couldn't pass with anything else.
What, was it an uproar?
No, they didn't freak out. It was so weird. But before that, I reminded them about retakes. And this time I said, it used to be you could retake it until the end of the quarter. And now I said, like, I drew a big infinity sign on the board, and I said infinity to the end of the year. Because instead of their quarter grade being an average of the quality of the work that they've got done, we're doing a partial like proficiency system where the report card is going to be a list of the proficiencies that they should have done for that amount of time, and then they're going to be like checked off.
And done means 80% done.
Yeah, so 80% or better on the assessment part.
Excellent.
And so parents can see the actual topics. Instead of like just saying Spanish, B+, you know, it'll now say, like up on the board, I don't know if you can see the back wall, but I put up all the proficiencies, like for 7th grade, 8th grade up there. So it'll say, telling time, and it'll list the actual things that kids can do. So I think it's going to be more informative once they get used to it. So that's what the report card will look like, and then it will show, there'll be a benchmark that says, you know, you're on track for completing everything, or you're behind, or you're ahead.
Basically, we are given different courses of things we have to learn, and we're giving like sources and different websites to study from and to just review what we're going through. Like right now, we're doing nationalities, and then once we test out of them, we can move on to like a new course or a new subject. And you're just making your way up into higher levels of the courses, I guess you'd say. Yeah. Everyone is at different levels in the class, so you can go at your own speed and study for as long as you want. You can do it at home or in the classroom, and then you're just given the test, and you can test out, and if you don't get a good grade, you can always redo it if you need to. But yeah, it's your own pace.
Each of us are working on different things right now. Like, I started days of the week first, some people started numbers first, and...
Do you find yourself retaking things?
I haven't yet, but
I suspect I will as it gets higher levels. It depends.
yeah, we usually prepare a lot before we take the little test, so.
I probably had 3 to 10 retakes each quarter. So some, but not a lot.
I'm not used to going at my own level and being in different places than my classmates, so this is new to me too.
The good, the bad? What's good about it? What's bad about it?
I think it's good that you can go at your own pace, and if you're ready for the next thing, you can always move on. But sometimes it can be a little confusing, like what's next and something like that.
I agree with her. I think it's nice being able to go at your own pace, but it is hard because sometimes you basically have to teach yourself using your resources, and that's helpful having resources, but it can be tricky to still teach yourself. So that was the only problem I've had with it so far.
Is it hard to stay focused?
Sometimes, but usually I try my best to stay focused on what I have to do. I like being able to work on my own speed because I know that some people in the class are faster at languages than I am, and it's helpful for me to learn at my own pace. And
A bunch of us are trying Canvas, and I'm still learning it, and I don't know what report out options I have. But in Google, I can easily make like I can just make one checklist, and fill it out for kids quickly.
Yeah.
So I may just do it on paper. But the parents will have access to Canvas, so they can go in and see more detailed information.
I like that we can pick what we want to do, and we don't have to do one thing specifically for a long period of time.
Yeah, I like that we can work at our own pace, and it's just kind of being able. You learn kind of how to work by yourself and how to make sure that you get everything done, but still can understand it.
It's good because you can go at your own pace. Hence the title. Numbers was really easy for me, but class and objects were harder. And for some reason, maybe the other way around.
Hello, my name is Colby. What I like most about Spanish class is the freedom we have in class.
I'm Galen. What I like most about Spanish is that we can work on whatever assignments we want, yet we are pushed to our Spanish limits.
Hi, I'm Ruby, and what I like about Spanish is that there's not a lot of stress because you can go at your own pace and you don't have assignments that are due right now. They're due whenever you want them to, but you always get them done.
They're asking me, but they're not asking me as much as I thought. For the actual number. And I just tell them the range. And they're going to get a letter home to parents. I had to wait for it to be approved by the principal, so it took a while. But they're going to get a letter home that has a big chart that says, meets the standard is 80%, or what did I say, 80 to 95 or something. And so there's going to be for parents a descriptor word, a percentage, and a letter grade, so they can get a sense of how that translates into what they're used to, so they don't freak out.
And again, just clarifying,
Yeah.
on these practice sessions, they get minimal feedback and no number.
Yeah, so then the one that's these are all quizzes. So this quiz, there's correction marks, they're pretty small, just a couple letters. And it says, so close, needs more practice, but doesn't say a number. So kids aren't discouraged by it if it's 20% right or if there's no number. They're forced to kind of look at the corrections
Great.
instead of the number.